Hello, if you're new to gardening, which I suspect a lot of you are, because I've picked up some thousands of new subscribers since COVID virus first came on the scene, you may be planning on growing vegetables in your garden. You might not have much of a garden, and so you may want to grow them in pots or buckets or bags. Well, if that's you, this video will be very beneficial for you. This is a heads up of what you're going to need when you start to sow carrot seeds in a bucket. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the bits and pieces you'll need in preparation, so that when the time's right, in the spring of the year, you'll have everything you need to make a good start. Okay, let me show you what I use. This is an ex-cut flower water bucket. If you're a regular of mine, you've seen these. I drill 4 holes in the bottom and make it into a planter. Okay, it's 10 inches by 10 inches and it holds 10 litres of compost. Let me just put this to one side. This is a bucket that I've already filled with compost, and I've done that because I want to show you a couple of ways of sowing carrot seeds in a bucket. But first, let's just have a look at some of these carrot seeds, the packets, and let's read what it says on the back of these packets. Okay, and it's fairly standard stuff, this. When to sow: February to July. So it's the beginning of spring through into summer. And if you're not in the UK, you might be sowing a bit earlier than that or a bit later than that. It says sow in a prepared seed bed, sow thinly, 10 inches apart, cover lightly, half an inch of fine soil, firm gently and keep moist. So we want to keep this moist. So we're not watering it, we're keeping it moist, and I'll show you how you're going to do that. The last thing you want to do when you sow these carrot seeds is to put a watering can over the bucket. Don't do it, you'll just wash all the seeds to one side, and when they do germinate, they'll be all around one side of your bucket. They won't be evenly spaced. And since you're going to put some effort into doing that, evenly spacing your carrots, then you don't want to waste it, do you? Right, let's see what this guy says. When to sow: March to July, yeah, so that's spring, early summer. In prepared seed beds, 30 centimetres apart, cover lightly with half an inch of soil. Seedlings appear 14 to 21 days. So every 2 to 3 weeks. So there's a bit of consistency there, isn't there? It tells you to space your carrots, it gives you a spacing, gives you a planting depth, tells you to keep them moist until you get them through, and don't expect to see a lot for 14 to 21 days. Let's see what this one says. Sow thinly in a large patio containers or a prepared seed bed, 12 inches apart, cover lightly, half an inch of soil, 14 to 21 days. I think that's maybe a smaller carrot, and that's why they're talking about patio containers. But usually all the information you get on here is for growing carrots in your garden. Sow outdoors thinly in prepared seed bed in rows, 12 inches apart, cover lightly, half an inch of fine soil, firm gently, keep moist. Seedlings usually appear 14 to 21 days. Right, you've definitely got that. You've definitely got that, because I've said it 4 times. Okay, how are we going to sow seeds in these 12 inch spacings? It's only 10 inch diameter. It's impossible, isn't it? And there's no information on those packets as to how you might sow your seeds thinly, because you definitely need to do it. That's the advice on the packet. You've got to space your seeds. So a scattergun approach of just drizzling seeds over the top isn't going to cut it, is it? It isn't going to cut it. So how are we going to do it? Right, let me show you this, what I've got. And I'm suggesting that you get your hands on these now, before you're ready to sow your carrot seeds. That is the base from a 10-inch pizza. You might want to check your recycler after you watch this video. That's the polystyrene base from a 10-inch pizza. Hey, look at that. Perfect fit. I think I may have trimmed it. And if you're growing in 5-gallon buckets, you want the base of a 12-inch pizza. Okay. This is one with 30 holes punched in it. Hey, what's all that about? And I'll tell you what, they're evenly spaced. Would you agree? Well, they are, because I used a template, and I'm going to tell you at the end of this video how to get a free template that will enable you to make these and to make them accurate. And there's a variety of hole numbers, hole configurations, hole patterns that you can have, and you can get that free template for 10 or 12-inch bases. I'll tell you how to do that at the end of the video. This is a piece of plastic mesh that I have. I simply cut this with scissors, and I've cut it to fit, look. How about that? Fits perfect, doesn't it? How about that? I like to use a piece of wood so that if I put more compost on top of this pot, I'll tamp it down with the wood and I'll make it nice and level. Okay. Do that by your hand if you want, but if you want a tool, get a tool. This thing here, this is my water spray. When I first sow seeds in buckets, I never use a watering can. As I've said earlier, just wash the seeds all over the place. This is what you need, a water spray. Okay. Right, I'm going to cut you to some video shortly that's a bit more interesting than the bit you're watching now, and it'll actually show you some carrot seeds growing, and I think it's about a week, 2 weeks and 4 weeks, something like that, so you'll get a heads up of what to expect. But before I do that, I'll quickly show you how I like to use these templates. Okay, so the grid pattern, the size of the squares do not matter one jot. They don't matter. And if you've got chicken wire, cut the chicken wire and make something like this. Right, it sits on there. Let me have a look. Right. This is just off a water bottle, and I usually put some water in that. And I usually have something on here that I can put some seeds on. And with a wet matchstick, I pick a seed up and pop it in one of those squares. Pick another seed up and pop it in another square until I use the grid pattern to equally space the seeds. Now I could leave one square empty, 2 squares empty, 3, it doesn't matter. I can please myself. But what I know at the end of the day when I've done this is all those seeds have got an equal amount of space in that bucket, and there are no carrot seeds shoulder to shoulder. Now you may be looking at this and saying that has got to be fiddly, that has got to take ages. Hey, honest, it's an absolute doddle. And when it's raining like it is today, and if you wanted to do this, you could do this indoors, provided you protect your table. You could do this indoors and your seeds won't blow everywhere. At the end of this video, what I'd like you to do is pop some carrot seeds on your kitchen table, wet a matchstick, pick them up. Honest, it's so easy. It's so easy. So, we pop carrot seeds in every other square on there, whatever that happens to be. Right? Before I've done that, I've sprayed the surface with water just to get it damp. Right, that's enough. So those carrot seeds are on the damp surface now. What I'll do now is I'll get some more compost and work it on top and spread it nice and gently and move it across. And now I've got those carrot seeds all in at the same depth. If this was half an inch below that lip, and I put that compost into the top of the lip. All those seeds are in at 1/2 inch. They're all in at the same depth, and then what we do is take the pizza base, put it on top, and gently firm, give ourselves a nice firm surface so all the seeds get a contact, and keep it gentle. Give them another spray. Put these somewhere where it's reasonably warm, and in a couple of weeks time you're probably looking at carrots, maybe even a bit sooner. You'll be looking at that germination. Now the way to use this template, or at least the way I like to use it, that's got 30 holes in it, but I have got some with 19, 20, 25, all kinds of things. Use a pencil, okay, and do this. Hey, how quick was that? Let's have a look. Hey, look at that. Hope you can see those. Come on, they are equally spaced. 30 carrots. Okay, so we start again with the water and the matchstick, and we wet it and we pick a seed up. Now we want to put it in this hole here, right? Pop it in with your other hand, close the hole up with your finger, twist the matchstick to try and dislodge the seed and pull it out. One seed sown. Check that the seed isn't on the end of the matchstick. Okay, now you're not going to double up in that hole because you've closed it. Pick another seed up, pop it in that hole, close it with your finger, turn the matchstick, pull it out, seed's gone. That's 2 sown. Now it's that easy and it's that quick. Honest, anyway. Right, so we'll cut you to that other video now. Watch that video. I think I shot that video a couple of years back. Molly's with me on it. And then come back to me and I'll tell you how to get your hands on one of these templates. Oh, and the other thing you need. Come on, you need to know what you're growing, don't you? Right, the name of the carrot, the date you've sown them, and stick that in there. So that when you come to harvest this bucket of carrots, you know how long they've been growing and you know what you're harvesting. They're okay. Right, come back to me when you watch that video. Hello. In previous years, when I've sown carrot seeds in 10-inch buckets, I've used an old piece of netting from the garden, simply cut in the shape of a 10-inch pot, the diameter, sat on the top and used as a grid pattern, and that's helped me space the seeds. What we don't want is carrots trying to grow shoulder to shoulder. If there's limited space in your bucket, then try and make sure every carrot gets its fair share. So this is what I've used in previous years. But what I'm using this year are these 10-inch pizza bases with some holes punched through. There are 19 holes punched in this one. Now I sowed a pot of carrots 4 weeks ago using this template. The variety was Sweet Candle. We've now got some seedlings. I'm going to put the 10-inch bucket up on this table and we'll have a look and we'll see how many seedlings we've got to germinate. This is the 10-inch bucket. The template we used was a 19-hole template, so there should be 19 seedlings growing if we've got 100% germination. Now I've done a count, and I'm sure you're probably doing a count now, but I make it 18. Now that's excellent, and as you can see, none of these seedlings are next to another seedling. There are no carrots in this pot shoulder to shoulder, and that's what we're attempting to do. And on the face of it, this pot looks quite thinly sown, but to be honest, once these carrots get some size about them, this bucket will be full. Now what I'm going to do, because I can, and I'm not suggesting you do it, but I've looked for the station that doesn't have a carrot growing, and I'm going to sow one seed. Is that crazy or what? Is that nuts? One carrot seed am I going to sow. There's the carrot seed inside this bottle top. You've seen me do this before. This is a wet matchstick. I'm going to pick that carrot seed up, and I believe that that's the station that has a carrot seed missing. So we're going to pop it in there. There's our carrot seed on the end of the matchstick. We're simply going to push it in and take it off with our finger. How's that? That's it. Now then, the reason I'm shooting this video, it's mainly for gardeners who are just perhaps starting out as gardeners, who have not sown carrots before, who have not sown carrots in buckets before. And carrots are fairly slow to get started. And as you can see, after 4 weeks growth, 4 weeks in this pot, there's not a lot. And what do you expect? Well, if you're new to gardening, you don't know what to expect. So what I'm going to do now, I shot some video last year where I had various pots of carrots at various stages in growth. I think at 1 week there's a pot of carrots. I think at 2 weeks there's a pot of carrots, and at 4 weeks, what you will notice when you see this short clip of video is that there are a lot more carrots in the pot, and that's because I used a grid pattern rather than the template that I showed you with the 19 holes in. Hello. One of the things I've had a lot of correspondence about over the years is carrots. Okay, and as you know, I grow carrots in pots. You've met my dog Molly before, haven't you? Excuse me, Molly. I grow carrots in pots, and I like to sow them using a grid pattern. Okay, and I like to sow one seed every other square. The size of that grid is irrelevant. Don't worry about size of grid. What is relevant is that you space your seeds thinly. You give them an equal amount of room in this pot to develop into a carrot. And what I like to do is take a whole pot full of carrots at the end of the season. I don't take individual carrots. If you take individual carrots, you leave an opening that the carrot fly could exploit. So I like to wait till the pot full of carrots is ready, then take them all in one, and there's nothing left in the pot for the carrot fly to bother. Okay, this particular pot is some seeds I've sown a week ago. I think it's a variety called a rainbow mixed. Yeah, it is. It's rainbow mixed. And as you can see, or as you can't see, should I say, there are no carrots showing through in this pot after 1 week. So if you've got carrot seeds in and they've been in the pot a week, chances are yours aren't showing through, unless you're in warmer climates, because germination is temperature dependent. So if it's cold, things don't seem to want to germinate that quickly, do they? Okay, and quite a lot of this correspondence that I get, people are getting despondent. They can't see any carrots. Should we plant some more carrots? Am I watering them enough? Yeah, hold on. See if you can see any carrots while I go and get the other pot. Okay, can you see them? I don't know if you can. They're very titchy, they're very sparse, but they are through. Okay, these carrots have been in these pots about 2 weeks, so it's taken 2 weeks for these carrots to germinate and get through. Now then, how deep do you plant your carrots? Excuse me, how deep do you plant your carrots? Right, if you read on the packet, it says 1/4 inch. I've no idea what that is in a metric measure, but it's 1/4 inch. So how do you get all your seeds into a pot 1/4 inch deep? It is an absolute doddle. Absolute doddle. If you've seen my previous videos, you'll see how easy it is. Let me tell you, just in case you haven't. Fill your pot completely. Okay. Use the base from a 10-inch pizza, the polystyrene base. It fits perfectly into there. If it doesn't, cut it so that it does. Put it on top and press down. Take it off and see where the surface has gone. If it's gone down more than 1/4 inch, add some more soil, add some more dirt, add some more compost. Press it down again. Okay. Now measure it from the side to the top of the pot. Hopefully you've now got it down 1/4 inch from the top of the pot. Put your grid pattern on. Place your seeds individually. Take your grid pattern off. You will have wet the surface of your compost using a spray. No watering cans at this stage, don't need it. You would then fill your pot with compost. You know that all those seeds are now 1/4 inch down there. Just firm it down with that pizza base. All your seeds are in a 1/4 inch. You may be sowing your seeds too deep. If it's taking that much longer to come through, I don't know. Only you'll know that. Right, so that's what you can expect after 2 weeks. And we're in the middle to the back end of spring, and it's quite cool. So if you're in warmer climates, they maybe come quicker. If you're in cooler climates, they probably won't. Right, that's after 2 weeks. Let's see what they look like after 4 weeks. Now you can see some carrots. How are they looking? Now that's after 4 weeks. These carrots are a bit more sparse than these. I seem to have got better germination there. I'm hoping that you can actually see that it looks as though I've got 100% germination there. If I put one seed through every other square on that grid, how's that looking? Does that make it any better? I don't know, I'm on the wrong side of the camera. Does that look as though I've got one carrot germinating every other square? I mean, if you want to freeze the frame, count the squares in the grid, count the carrots in this pot in my right hand. I'm really chuffed with that, and that's after 4 weeks. Okay, so if you're having problems with carrot seeds in pots, don't despair, give them a chance. And if you're worried about them, sow another pot. What's the problem? You know, sow some more carrots, but sow them thinly. Use one of these things, and when they're in there, remember they're only 1/4 inch down, so don't put the watering can over them. Spray them. You're only looking to keep that top 1/4 inch moist so that these seeds can germinate and pick up some moisture. These guys are standing outdoors now, and these guys are getting some rain across them, and every now and again I'll put the watering can across them because they're a wee bit bigger. But initially, don't use the watering can. You'll just wash all your seeds to one side. Use a light spray. Once you get to this sort of size, then you can get them outdoors, let the rain take the strain. If there is no rain, lightly over them with a watering can. So this is Homegrown Veg, signing out. Welcome back. Did you enjoy that? Yep. So that's how I do it at homegrown veg. You might want to do it that way. If you're still in the winter months, you've got time to get all your bits and pieces together. Make yourself a decent bit of compost. Just make sure there's no big lumps in there. Put it through a riddle, put it through a sieve. Throw a slack handful of bloodfish and bone in there if you want to. But after you've sown these seeds, all you're going to do is water them. And if you want to give them a liquid feed, you can give them a liquid feed. But hey, just don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. And just don't let the bucket dry out. Don't let it dry out. And at the outset, well, I should have said this at the outset, but I'll say it now. Manage your expectations. How many carrots do you think you can grow in a small bucket? There's no point in the scattergun approach and planting 200 seeds. You ain't going to get 200 carrots. So it's worth doing it like this. Space your seeds now, and you have a much better chance of success than you have if you just throw a handful of seeds in there. Okay, how do you get this? Right. Well, the template for this was produced by a chap called Abrath. I'm not too sure if I pronounced his name right. Abrath or Abba. And he has a channel, Abrath's World. What I'll do is I'll try and take a link that he sent me and put it in the text on the bottom of this video. Now that'll enable you to go to Abrath's World and download a template that you can then print out on a printer, cut the paper, I mean your scissors and sellotape, put it on top of a pizza base and poke a pencil through it. Poke a pencil through it and you've got your templates. It's so easy. And by the way, while you're there, if you're at Abrath's World, just tell him Homegrown Veg sent you, please. Will you do that? Will you tell him Homegrown Veg sent you? Okay. I hope I've given you some useful hints and tips there. It's how I do it. You may choose to do it another way. I mean, there's lots of channels on YouTube that are showing you how to grow vegetables. But this is how I do it. And if you've seen any of my videos, then you'll know that I do get reasonable success growing carrots in buckets, and I have done consistently over a number of years. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. This is Homegrown Veg signing out.